Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie White. I'm the Director of Operations and Strategic Alliances for Housing and Residence Life, and this is an information session about housing options and the housing application process for next year. As a reminder, this information session will be recorded and posted to the Housing and Residence Life website. Also, I want to make sure folks know that this information is accurate as of today, December 8th. So please be sure you read any information that you're sent via email to make sure that if in the event anything has changed, that you have the correct information. All right, in today's session, I'm going to give you a little bit of background information. I'm going to go through the housing steps, the housing application steps for on campus, provide a little bit of information about steps you should take if you're looking to move off campus, and then information about our upcoming sessions, as well as answer some questions that you have submitted for us. All right, for those of you who are relatively new to Georgia Tech, you may not realize that we have increased our undergraduate enrollment by almost 2,000 students over the last 5 years, really expanding access to students from all backgrounds. And that we really do lead the nation in transfer acceptance and are investing really heavily in our first generation and our limited income students. So this enrollment growth impacts housing in a variety of different ways. And what we've seen over the last couple of years, as you'll see on these next slides, is our trends for our wait list because of our demand for on-campus housing. So for the last couple of years, we have seen our wait list grow. We have seen the number of students who are looking to live on campus really increase. But what we're also seeing is that wait list increase, how we manage the wait list and work to get students on campus changes as well. So I provide this in an effort to show you that when students call and ask, what's your best guess, or can you project if I'm going to get off the wait list? It's really difficult as our data is really changing so quickly and so drastically over the last few years. One of the things I want to make sure I share with folks is how we make primary considerations for on-campus housing, and we use research that tells us that our newest and youngest students benefit the most from living on campus, and so we use those as primary considerations. So really thinking about our first year, our new transfers, new grads, those rising second year students, our limited income students, and then we focus on current residents, folks who've already chosen to live with us. So as you're thinking about housing next year, if you're planning to live on campus, the things that you need to do are know when your housing application phase opens and mark your calendar for that day. Take a look at the off-campus housing marketplace website just to get your bearings on what might be options for you if you either choose to live off campus or are unable to get on-campus housing. Consider what living learning communities might be available to you. Attend info session just like you're doing today, and then apply for housing. And then we'll also go over what happens once you have a completed application if you're on the wait list or if you're not on the wait list. All right, so we're gonna provide a little bit more information later in the session about the off-campus housing marketplace website, but just want to make sure folks know about it and know that it exists and that you take a look at that, even if you're certain you want to live on campus. If you, we want to make sure you're considering what living learning community options you have and are available to you. Students who are rising second years, meaning you currently are a first year student who matriculated to college for the first time in the summer or fall, you have the option to participate in the second year experience, and you will be able to select that on your application when you apply for housing. All of our upper class students are eligible to apply for WIST and iHouse, Women's Science and Technology, and the International House. If you currently are a participant in a first year living learning community, you may have the option, or you do have the option to continue to live with your living learning community if you agree to the requirements for those communities. All right, so information sessions, we'll be hosting additional ones in January. We'll have a grad and family application information session in person, a general housing application session, a virtual on January 25th, and then a waitlist information session for students on the waitlist in March. All right, so these application phases are important. So you please mark your calendars about what applies to you, what classification you are in. So for our returning student housing application phase opening dates, January 30th will open the application to rising second year students only, and that is for students who want to apply for the academic year 24-25 as well as summer 2024. Those are two separate applications, but all rising second years will be eligible to apply. On February 8th, our family unfurnished housing application will open. On February 13th, current residents may begin applying for housing. So in addition to the rising second year students and the family students who are applying for family housing, all other current residents will begin to apply. I do want to note here there's an asterisk about what constitutes a current resident. So students who canceled their spring housing due to a co-op or an internship or a study abroad, etc., are considered current residents and will apply as a current resident. So if you had a fall and spring, you had an academic year housing contract, and then you canceled for the spring as a result of, study abroad, internship, etc., then you are considered a current resident. And then on February 20th, all other returning students may begin applying for housing. Our application typically opens at noon on the day that it's set to open. And so we don't open it at midnight. We want to make sure we're available to answer questions and that the system is working appropriately. All right, so after you apply, if you are not on the wait list in February, you'll have the opportunity to select a roommate. You will not have a time ticket to do this. You'll just receive, there's a window of time that you're eligible to select a roommate. We do encourage you to accept any roommates before self-assign begins so that you can assign each other. And then if you are continuing with a living learning community or you choose a living learning community, then you will only be able to select roommates who are also a part of that community. And if your desired roommate is on the wait list, they will not be an option to you. In March, you'll select your room. We will have the opportunity for students to stay same first, and that's only if your room is eligible. We'll talk more about what that means later in the presentation. It's worth noting that rising second year honors program students will not be eligible, may be eligible to stay same, but other rising second year students won't. So honors programs, rising second year students may stay same, but all other rising second year students will not be able to do that. Upper class living learning community and graduate students will self-assign in March, and then all of the other students will begin assigning in March as well. The more credit hours you have earned at Georgia Tech, the earlier your time ticket is to select your room. And the roommate with the earliest time ticket will be able to pull your roommates in and assign them to their spaces as well. All right, if you are on the wait list after you have applied for housing and you are on the wait list in February, please be patient with us. We will not really make any movement on the wait list until late spring, early summer as students begin to cancel. We do encourage you to go ahead and start looking at your off-campus housing options and what resources are available to you. In March, we'll have an information session for waitlisted students and also a housing fair where we'll invite our off-campus housing property partners to come and meet with you and talk with you about what options they are offering. We'll also open the waitlist priority consideration form, and you'll be able to let us know if you have a situation that really requires that you live on campus that you'd like for us to consider. If you're planning to move off campus, really dig into that off-campus housing marketplace website, come to a housing fair, learn about the properties. We're also going to be offering some sessions that we'll talk a little bit about later in the presentation around how you sign a lease and information you should know once you sign that lease, and then you'll go ahead and prepare for move out. The off-campus housing marketplace website offers you the opportunity to look for properties that are nearby, that are student specific. You can really filter by a variety of different things that you care about, and look for properties maybe that are, within proximity of a certain area of campus, that offer a shuttle, that have specific term leases that you're interested in. You can also log into the website and you can log into the website and look for roommates or subleases. You can look at the website. We have a section there for renter education that has some information, again, like I said earlier, about, how to sign a lease or what it means to sign a lease. We'll be offering some other sessions for students and opportunities for you to, hear advice from students who have rented and moved off campus, and learn from what their experience, as well as advice from property managers. And we'll be providing sessions starting in January throughout the spring for students who are looking to move off campus. All right, so I'm going to answer some questions that you all have submitted to us. So the first one is, what are the long-term housing plans to address growth in enrollment? So we have submitted a 5-year plan to the Board of Regents and the university system. We've been approved to build a new traditional hall for 862 beds that will support our incoming first-year students. It is expected to be built late fall, so fall of 2026 is when we expect to open. And this is an enabling project that will allow us to renovate other first-year buildings and give us the opportunity to really do some infrastructure renovation and take some buildings offline to renovate them. We are currently exploring a variety of other options to grow our housing inventory as well. So what if you only need housing for the fall or spring due to your plans to graduate, study abroad, co-op, intern, etc. for this semester? And so the question is, how do you apply for just one semester? So first, we only offer 3 contract terms: academic year, which is fall and spring, the spring only, and summer. So if you only need fall housing, then you would apply for the academic year housing and then cancel your spring semester in the fall. When you know what your plans are for the spring, you'll cancel and you'll submit documentation letting us know why you're canceling. And if you're canceling for an approved reason, then you won't pay a penalty for canceling that spring portion of your contract. If you only need spring housing, then you would apply in mid-October while you're away. How do your credit hours impact when you can select a room? All right, so while our incoming student room selection is based on when you sign your contract, for everyone else, once you're a current student, the time ticket to select your room is based on how many credit hours you have completed on Georgia Tech's campus. And the more credit hours you have, the more choices you have. So credit hours do not include dual enrollment, including Georgia Tech dual enrollment, and they do not include your AP and IB credit hours. Those don't factor into the credit hours for the room selection process. And so like I said, more credit hours, more choices. What does the BSMS program mean for getting housing? So if you are a participant in the BSMS or in a BSMS program at Georgia Tech, then you are eligible to stay in your current assignment if you will graduate from your bachelor's program in the fall and begin your master's program in the spring. Okay, you can stay. You can stay where you are. You may have the option to transition to graduate housing if we have space available, and you can call and ask those questions as you prepare to graduate. But you should be prepared to live in graduate housing the following term. So if you choose to live with us in the summer or the following fall, then you would live in graduate housing moving forward. If you complete your bachelor in the spring and are going to begin your master's program in the fall, or the summer, then you would wait for your status to change in Banner so that we can see that you are an actual master's student, and then you would apply for housing so that when you go through the processes for roommate selection and self-assign, you will be choosing other graduate students and choosing housing in our graduate housing. So if you don't do that and you go through the process of selecting a room and a roommate that is not in graduate housing, we're going to reassign you once you become a graduate student. So it's better to wait and have the opportunity to go through those processes yourself. All right, we get this question a lot. I live in wherever, and you want to live there next year. Can you stay in that same apartment for the following academic year? So some of our buildings are eligible for stay same, some are designated and for special programs. But if they are eligible for students to stay, then you will receive an email about how to do that and when you can do that. It'll be a specific time period. You'll be able to log in and choose to stay in your same apartment. This is an individual process, so it does not pull in roommates, or you can't assign your roommates. You can't do anything like that. But if you do want to stay with your roommates and your space is eligible for stay same, everybody can do the same process, right? Everybody logs in, they stay same, they stay in their current space. But remember that this is academic year contract. So if you're applying for the following academic year, you're going to move out in May, you can move back into your room in the fall. Sometimes a room is also going to be a summer room. And if you're going to be on campus in the summer, you might be able to stay in that room for summer and fall. But you would need to apply for summer, and then your room would have to be eligible for summer as well. So you just want to make sure you understand those processes. In other words, you don't just leave your belongings there all the time, even if you're not there, right? It's not your room for the summer. It's on unless you apply for summer and you're assigned there. Also, please remember that specific housing is never guaranteed. Even once you sign a contract, your contract is for a space on campus, not a specific space on campus. And it's very explicitly stated in the contract that you can be reassigned at any point. And so we really want to make sure folks understand that we do our very best to make sure the students can live where they want to live, but it's just not always possible for a variety of different reasons. All right, if you applied for housing last year as a returning student, you know that we had issues with our My Housing portal crashing, and that was due to the number of concurrent users accessing the system at the same time, as well as an issue we had with DocuSign. So what have we done? We've been working all year to make sure that these problems don't happen again. We transitioned the My Housing system to a cloud-hosted environment, which allows us more bandwidth, so more concurrent users can access the system at the same time. We've removed DocuSign for the following year as well, so you will sign your contract as a part of the housing application process. These two things, along with a system that will allow us to essentially put students in line if the system is full. So if we have the maximum number of concurrent users in the system and the next person logs in, instead of crashing, they will be placed in line and be notified when the system is available for them. And so we are planning for all of these changes to allow us to have a really clean and not have the system crash when we open the housing application. At least it won't crash for the same reasons. And so I want to be really clear here. We are doing our very best to make sure that the experience is seamless and that students don't have trouble with the system this year. We will not have the same problems we had last year. I can promise that, and that's the limits of my promises. So next question, will first year students live in apartments? We do have some first year students living in apartments, including our students who are participating in the honors program, and next year we will have an additional living learning community in apartments. And then we often get a question, is graduate housing being impacted by our enrollment growth? And it's not being impacted as much by the first year enrollment growth and the undergraduate enrollment growth, but we are seeing some enrollment growth in graduate students as well. So it's impacted by that more than anything else. I would say it's slightly impacted by undergraduate enrollment growth only because we are allocating spaces that we may have been able to give to graduate students in the past due to demand, that we really are keeping in our undergraduate allocation for now. Additional information sessions. So graduate and family application information session, January 23rd in person, and for grad and family current residents. We'll have a general housing application information session, January 25th, and a waitlist information session, March 5th. You can bookmark the website from this QR code to really stay up to date on the programs and resources that will help you as you consider your options for housing for next year. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to our housing help desk. You can submit a ticket there. You can call. We will get you the answers that you need. And we really appreciate you joining us today and hearing all about the information you need to make good decisions about where you want to live next year.